Welcome to another installment of Math Basics, Mr. Besh. Today what we're going to do is combine like terms with integers. I'm going to walk you through 5 examples step by step. Example number 1. Remember our rules from previous units. Anytime you have a variable with no coefficient, meaning no number in front of the letter, make sure that you put a 1 there. Second thing you want to do is take time, digest the problem. Go from left to right, underline terms that are like one another. So now I got a 1y and a negative 5y. So I underline them both. Those are like terms. And then I have 2 terms, numbers, with no variables attached. Those are also like terms. So then I underline plus 8, and then I underline negative 3. And then I take my time, and I combine together the terms with the variable first, because they always got to go first in my expression. Positive 1y, negative 5y make negative 4y, and a positive 8 and a negative 3 combine together to make positive 5. A negative 4y plus 5 is my simplified answer. On to my second example. 2z minus 7x minus 5z plus 2x. This one has no terms that do not have variables. So what I do is I always start with the variables closest to the beginning of the alphabet. Underlining my like terms from left to right, I got a negative 7x and a positive 2x. And then what I also have is I have a positive 2z and a negative 5z. Combining the x terms first, negative 7x and positive 2x combine together to make negative 5x, and a positive 2z and a negative 5z combine together to make negative 3z. Notice in my simplified answer, negative 5x minus 3z, the term that is closest to the beginning of the alphabet x comes before my z term. It has to happen like this when you write your final answers. My third example has the distributive property. Remember this rule, something from the past that we had to do? Well, you have to do the distributive property and simplify the problem before you can do anything else, including combining your like terms. Remember the rules for the distributive property. You take the number out in front of the parentheses and multiply it by both terms in the parentheses. So then you're going to get 2 times x and then 2 times negative 4. And when you do that, 2 times x is 2x. And 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. And then I simply write down the plus 9x and then the plus 1. Now I can go from left to right and combine my like terms, underlining them first, positive 2x here, positive 9x here. And then what I have is I got negative 8 and a positive 1. So always do the variable terms first. Remember, positive 2x and positive 9x make positive 11x, and a negative 8 and a positive 1 make a negative 7. So my answer in simplified form here is 11x minus 7. Now, I stuck with another example using the distributive property, but this one, I wanted to make sure that you've seen this because this can happen from time to time when you're using integers. Again, I have to do the distributive property first before I can combine like terms, and then you're going to see something interesting. I'm going to take my negative 2 times 6, and then I'm going to take my negative 2 times positive 2x. When I do this from left to right, I got 4x. Negative 2 times 6 makes negative 12, and a negative 2 times a positive 2x gives me negative 4x, and then I just bring down simply the plus 8. Now, when I underline my like terms, the first thing that I notice is I got a positive 4x and a negative 4x. Opposites. Remember, when you add opposites together, something special happens. You always get 0. They cancel each other out. So now when I combine together 4x and negative 4x, that's going to make 0x. And 0x means 0 times x, and 0 times anything is 0. My final answer is simply going to be negative 4, because the only thing left in the math problem is a negative 12 and a positive 8. And this is my fourth example. Last but not least, something easy, but something a little bit bizarre, and unless somebody shows you this, some people have some difficulties from time to time. All of a sudden, a rogue stand by itself minus sign in front of a set of parentheses. When you see something like this, all you have to do to make this right is slip a 1 in between the negative sign and the parenthesis. Now you do the distributive property, and what you're doing is you're multiplying a negative 1 by both terms inside that set of parentheses. So now a negative 1 times x is going to give me negative 1x, and a negative 1 times a negative 3 is going to give me a positive 3. Actually, that minus sign in front of the parentheses is just telling you to do the opposite of whatever you see in the parentheses. In the parentheses, I saw a positive x, positive 1x, and I saw a negative 3. The opposites of those are a negative 1x and a positive 3. This was combining like terms with integers. I hope you found this both helpful and informative.